Violence of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with one of our LaGrange finest, Lieutenant Jeremy Butler. Lieutenant, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. Jeremy, I don't know that you and I have sat down in quite a while, or have we sat down previously before?
We have years ago.
Years ago.
When I was a K-9. It's probably like 2007.
Wow.
It's been a long time
It's
ago.
been a long time.
Yes, sir.
Jeremy, can't do that to me anymore, okay? Okay, all right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, well, you know, Jeremy, there's a lot of things going on, and I'm happy to say and to report, before we move into introduction, you recently got promoted. Talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
I did. I made lieutenant a week ago today, actually. I've been with the department for 21 years, and I'd been a supervisor since 2009. So had the opportunity to be promoted to lieutenant and go through the process, and
Very good.
I'm proud of the accomplishments, but I'm also proud of the fact that the people that's invested, in me. It's not just about me; it's about other people. So.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
You know, coming from the police department back in years ago,
Yep.
I know about moving up through those ranks and the importance and also the responsibility that goes along with those various upward promotions. And again, I just want to say congratulations to you. I think you've been one of those officers I've seen that have been consistent the entire time that I've known you.
Right.
I see you going out to the gym with your gym workout guys, you're running, your biking, you used to do the K-9. So, just some officers that kind of stick out in your mind, and I must say that you're one of those that are heads and shoulders above some of the others that I've known.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do in our community.
Thank you.
You told us a little bit about yourself, being with the police department 21 years. Let me just say, when all little boys, they always say, I want to grow up and be a police officer. Did you ever have that thought?
I didn't. But my dad, Lowell Butler, retired as a lieutenant with LaGrange Fire Department, and he was here for 35 years.
Okay.
So I was exposed to the public safety kind of side of things. And I remember the times I didn't get to see him on Christmases and holidays, but in the long run, as I got older, I felt like I had a service to people. And that's kind of why I went that way. Okay. And I worked in the sheriff's office in the jail first, and that's really where I knew what I wanted to do. I learned from working in that jail.
Yeah, that's a different environment.
If you can interact with people in a positive way in a jail setting when their world's kind of going south for for them, you can work with them on the streets too.
Absolutely. So it sounds like you kind of in a ministry there in itself, which kind of leads us into what we're going to talk about here today.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think all our lives are or should be a ministry in some form or fashion. Right. And talking about that, I know that the police department and other agencies are going to be involved in what we call our National Night Out.
Right.
Talk about that if you don't mind.
Okay. National Night Out that we're having on October the 4th. I'll give you the times and dates. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's going to be held at Emmanuel Ministries on Buena Vista, which is the old movie theater when I was a kid. It's a church now. Pastor Sequita Freeman. She's been kind enough, generous enough to let us use her facility. But basically what we're going to do is all the various law enforcement agencies in our county, and to include the State Patrol, will come together. We'll have a setup where people from the community, children, adults can come, see the various things that law enforcement does, see our cars, see some of the equipment that we're, trained to use. Okay. And we'll have other things going on there too. We've got a little petting zoo. What else have we got going on? Some face painting and a train. We got a train that will be there for the kids. And I'm sure we may have a helicopter show up.
Okay.
So I think that would be something. But it's basically just an opportunity for people to learn more about what we do, not what we always read on or see on the news, more so the human side of it, I guess you'd say.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because I was about to ask, why is that so important, especially in society today, that, as you alluded to, so many times in the news we see, the things that we see, and we realize that sometimes those snippets are going to give us only the worst scenario, but there's something that led up to that. So why is it important that we're doing this, Jeremy?
I think the biggest thing for me and for the folks that I work with is to see I'm a human too. I put my pants on the same way the people that I serve every day does. Right. So in the long run, I want them to be able to see that I'm human, and that my coworkers are, and that we can have relationships outside of the profession. I guess what I'm trying to say is my first conversation with somebody should not be during an enforcement action. It should be something as simple as walking down the street talking to people. So, and I think in the long run it'll build relationships that, you know, they see us as who we are instead of what the world would have you to perceive us as.
Absolutely.
So.
You know, in talking about that, I remember back in the days when I was there in law enforcement, we had what we call community policing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you all have zones now that officers patrol. And it's so important, like you talk about, to build those relationships with the individuals in the community. And you know, when I would drive down the street, you know, they would know, hey, Officer West, or, you know, you have that relationship so that when something went on, and I know that, and you all probably still do this, you know, neighborhood watches and the residents watches are the best policing that a community can have. No doubt,
no doubt. And luckily we have about 30 active neighborhood watch block captains and people that we can contact on a monthly basis. And if, you know they can reach out to us. They don't need to wait on us to call. They can reach out to us too and share information with us. And it's a lot of times it's very vital stuff that solves crimes in the community. So.
Yes, absolutely. And this is the National Night Out is going to be on October the 4th. It's Tuesday, October the 4th, from 6 until 8. And I also see on the flyer here that you guys may have some giveaways.
We will. We've had some very kind and generous businesses in LaGrange that have donated various things from food, gift certificates to various things. Okay. And so we will begin doing that, I believe, at 6:30. Okay. But we've got a lot of businesses in LaGrange that's really stepped it up. So,
you know, talking about that, one of the things I've learned here and being here in the area for such a long time, that LaGrange is a very caring and giving community, and that says a lot and speaks volumes.
It is. I tell you, we have had so much outpouring, and again, it's almost a daily basis. I can walk down to the PD downstairs away from my office and walk into the break room, and it's obvious somebody from the community's brought something, whether it's coffee, sometimes donuts that we probably don't always need, but we appreciate when we get. But people are just continuously taking care of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, I don't know how we got that stigma of police officers and donuts go together.
I've always laughed at that because I've tried not to be that person. As much as I like them, I try not to eat them when
absolutely. I don't like to. Well, when I was there, I would get mine and go in my office.
Yeah, nobody could see you.
There you go. That's right.
That's right.
So we got the National Night Out, and then I know the part of this is the Faith in Blue. I think that's kind of one and the same. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Right, we have the Faith in Blue event, and basically this is where we bring the faith community in and interact with our law enforcement, and we're able to have conversations in a sense of what we need more of from the faith community, and vice versa, what they may need from us. So for that, our first event we're actually having is on a Friday morning, October the 7th at 8:30 a.m. We're doing this at the Confidence Missionary Baptist Church, Pastor Michael Jackson's church, and he is actually one of our chaplains with the police department. But this is actually a pastor's breakfast where all the pastors that are come and have an opportunity to talk with the chief. The sheriff will be there. We've invited State Patrol, Hogansville, West Point, and just allow them to have some conversations and kind of come up with solutions instead of just talking about it. So, and then our actual public event where we have the public come in is on Sunday. That's Sunday, October the 9th, from 3 to 4:30, and we're actually Pastor Shogert from Southcrest Church has generously allowed us to use his facility. He's also one of our chaplains with the police department, and we'll have pastors, different speakers coming up that day, and just it's an invite to the community. Have people there that want to be involved, and I think we all need a little bit more prayer and a whole lot more faith than we project sometimes. That's but for me to do this job, I gotta have it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, again, it's so important that we, again, create those relationships. create those bridges to make sure that we get resolution to issues here in our community. Because whether we realize it or not, we got to live here with each other, so we better to understand each other.
Right.
So, you know, and let me ask you, how did these come about, Jeremy? Because I know they had to be a think tank behind this.
Right.
How and who are all the ones that are involved within the police department?
Well, for us within our department, our community outreach unit, which is my group, is directly involved in the planning process, but also our officers and our deputies in our county state patrol are, you know, of course, invited to participate. And but Reverend Markel Hutchinson, you've probably seen him on TV over the years. He is a big push in this process. In fact, we get emails and updates from him. And it's a realization that our faith community has to play a big role in this profession and support role. You know, oftentimes our officers, as part of our requirements of the police department on a yearly basis, our officers have to sit down with a pastor in a counseling form type session to make sure the officers, you know, minds are clear and that they can go out there and do their job that they need to do, and know that they got support, and it's in a confidentiality mindset too, that I can talk to this pastor and, you know, share where I'm at, I guess you would say. And that's the big push from this, is just ensuring that our faith community and our law enforcement and public safety in general has a support mechanism amongst each other. You know, we call on our pastors, our chaplains, who are pastors a lot in very critical situations, death scenes, whether it be a natural or a homicide or suicide. It doesn't matter. They're coming and they're going to represent the police department. At the same time, they're counseling families, people whose worlds are, you know, kind of ending in their mindset. So our faith community, our chaplains, our pastors are just, they play an unbelievable part.
Very good. You know, Jeremy, in saying that, as we close out, you talked about being able to talk with somebody in confidence, and to know that you all are okay, because people don't realize sometimes the things that you all have to go through to impact your jobs, and it impacts you mentally and well as physically. So, you know, we're very happy and fortunate to have in our community the caring pastors and the caring community that we live in, to make sure that our men and women in whatever realm of public service that they're in, to care about them, to want to make sure that their mental stability is there so that they can better impact the community they live in.
I've always said, if I don't invest in myself, I can't invest in you. So if I don't have myself together, how can I help Alton, or I'm just using an example, or anybody? So yes, they play a great part, and it's nice to know that I can call Michael Jackson or any of our chaplains and have a conversation. Just breathe a little bit.
There you go, breathe again. That's right.
Yep.
Well, Lieutenant, I want to thank you very much for coming on and sharing this information, National Night Out, as well as the Faith in Blue events. And I know that, as always, our community will come out, and definitely all the public services will take full advantage of it. So thank you for being my guest today. Much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us City Week this week. My guests have been from the LaGrange Police Department. I had on Lieutenant Jeremy Butler as he talked about the upcoming events, National Night Out, as well as the Faith in Blue events that we all can get involved in. So by all means, ladies and gentlemen, come out and enjoy those events, and I'm sure that you might just pick up some helpful information. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed my interview, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.